Hi YouTubers, it's me, Kalani, and I'm here with another video you can like and share. This video is going to be a little bit longer than probably my videos that you're used to. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please like and share and comment on this video and let me know what you would like to see. This video is about how to find a godly man. For you men out there, you can probably learn from this too. This will teach you what to look for in a woman or what you should be looking for. And hopefully if there's another woman out there that you want to send this video to, you can do that as well. First, I want to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Now, I am not an ordained minister, but I have done ministry at my church. And at Faithway, my previous church, and I'm going back there now. So I wanted to get more into spiritual videos as well as my motivational videos, because I feel like when you have God in your life, you have your goals are more sustainable. You can reach your goals and be more successful when you have that extra step of faith in your life. If you have God in your life and you have that faith. So I want to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Hopefully they gave you some time to find it. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship doth righteousness have with unrighteousness? And what communion doth light have with darkness? Okay, so this is the main point. When you are looking for a man or a woman of God, you want to make sure that you're equally yoked. Or if you're looking for a man or a woman, period, you want to make sure that you're equally yoked, and you want to seek God first. That the way that you do this is you make sure that, for one, you have yourself together, because in order to know who God is and see that within a person, you have to first know God yourself. You must first have God within you. You must have Him in your heart. You must have studied Him. You must have prayed to Him. You must make His ways your ways, because God says, I have not blessed you because your ways are not my ways. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. Your ways are not my ways. So until you make your ways God's ways, He's not going to send you a man or a woman of God that He's been waiting to send you. God wants to bless you. You're His child. He's been waiting to bless you. But He can't, because you're not ready. So if you're at the point where you spend time with God, maybe you are ready, then just follow this video and listen to some of the tips that I have, and maybe then you can position yourself for that man or woman of God. So first, we want to seek God first. We want to get to a place where you can be humble, because going to church and reading your Bible and just being in fellowship and communion with God teaches you to be meek and humble. In Galatians, it talks about the fruits of the Spirit, and that'll keep you from arguing about the little things and picking your battles. Not just arguing about everything that bothers you, but actually saying, okay, is this worth even discussing? Can I just let it go? So you want to be able to come to a place where you can be humble and you can be giving with your partner and loving and give love freely and be confident. So you want to first know God and spend time with Him so He can mold you, because what you need to do is you need to have, like, for your vows, it says for richer or for poor, correct? So you want to come to the table with some wealth, because they say for richer, yes, that'll be great to be richer or have some income. But they'll be there if you fall or you are poorer. But the main goal would be that you would have something to bring to the table. Am I right? For richer or for poor. So the best side of it would be to be for richer. So have something to bring to the table so that you can get that from your mate. Because basically you get what you give in the universe. So if you're giving off nothing, you have nothing to give, you're going to attract people that have nothing to give. And sometimes when you have a lot, you may attract people with less, of course, too. I've had that situation where I've had a lot, and I've attracted people that didn't have anything, but then I'm not as attracted to that person because I've experienced dating someone that didn't have a job and it didn't quite work out. That person was very jealous and it created a lot of arguments, and he didn't feel like he was worthy to be with me because he wasn't being the man that God told him to be. God said the man had to be the provider. He was out of his role. We were both out of our roles. I was taking care of him, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. But some people can make it work. I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people, but when you're equally yoked, then you understand your roles. So you have to know God and understand God. And then for health, for sickness and in health, you want to try to establish a good health for yourself. I know some people have health problems, but you got to be the best person you can be with that particular health problem. Do the best you can and get to a place where that person is not having to, I guess, tend to you all the time. If you can do something for yourself, then you know they can take you the rest of the way. But when you have an illness, and it could be any illness, you know, when the time is right to tell them about that illness, then you already want to be in a place where you letting them know that, hey, I'm doing everything in my power with my illness, and they can see the good in you and accept you at your health at that point. But if your issue with health is just you need to exercise a little bit more, or you need to cut back on calories, or you need to eat smaller portions or not eat after a certain time, then do that. And then when you're ready, when you're confident in yourself and you're ready and you feel like you're at a good weight or you're in a good health to be able to date and you will attract the person that you want to attract, then start dating. You know, when you have got yourself together with God. And I'm being real, you know, I'm being real because a lot of people say, well, you know, you shouldn't be carnal and just look at the outside of appearance. But the reality is that a lot of guys do look at the outer appearance, and a lot of women do. The first thing you see when you want to go up and talk to someone is their outward appearance. How do they carry themselves? Do they look nice? Does the woman carry herself well? Does she have on makeup? Does she have on jewelry? Or does she dress nice? Does she smell good? Just like with a man, does he smell good? How did he iron his clothes? Does he have nice shoes? You know, does he have a nice physique or not? Is it something I can work with? So you got to get your appearance to something that's acceptable in your eyes. Because if you are confident in yourself, when you look in the mirror and in your eyes you look beautiful, then you will give that energy off. Okay, but if you are not happy with yourself and you haven't taken care of yourself, you're going to give off a negative energy, and they're always going to have to compliment you to make you feel good about yourself, and you're not going to be able to enjoy that relationship. You're always going to feel like you don't want to go out with them because they look better than you. Or you need to be confident in yourself. You need to spend enough time with yourself, getting yourself healthy to a point where you feel confident with yourself. And I'm not saying you got to be a size 2 or a size 4, because I'm not. But I'm saying that I'm not going to officially date anybody until I get to the right physique that I am confident with, because I don't want to be a burden on someone else and give off a bad energy. So I make sure I work out. I make sure that I eat better so that I can lose my weight and be confident, and then I can attract the person that I'm attracted to. Amen. So if you don't like it, I'm not saying your weight is wrong or the way you look is wrong, but if you don't like it, change it. If you're not attracting the people that you want to attract, then take a year to just change it. Stop dating, spend time with God, go to work, get a good job or a business, read a book, write some poetry. Just humble yourself and spend time with yourself, and spend time with your family and friends. And then when you know God and you're good with yourself, then you can go to the next step of knowing what to look for. You can look, well, I guess it's not in steps. It's not like you got to know God first and then know what to do or know what men are looking for, but kind of in the same breath, in the same timing, you want to get to know God, as well as the next point that I want to talk about is you need to know what the men are looking for, or the woman. What is a woman looking for? And then the third point is prepare. So know what they're looking for. Like, a man may want a woman that can cook. A lot of men say they want a woman that can cook. Now, it's good if guys can cook too. I'll let you know that it is nothing wrong with hooking up a meal for your woman. Nothing more sexy or gorgeous than a man getting in the kitchen with this woman and cooking together and building a relationship and having fun in the kitchen and making it a fun thing instead of a chore. Nothing wrong with that. Guys take a cooking class, women take a cooking class, but you know, while you're taking this year to get yourself together, or 6 months, or whatever you're going to do, just take a sewing class, so that if your man's button pops off his shirt, then you can sew it up real quick before work or what have you, or for your kids if you guys plan to have kids. And just put yourself first for a while. Go to church and basically just learn to be a woman that a guy would want. Like, a guy would want usually a more classy woman when you're in the higher ages. I say 30 and up, 25 and up. Men gravitate toward more classy women, a woman that knows who she is, a woman that's very confident. That's why I said you got to know yourself, get yourself together, get your health together. And men like women that go to church as well. If you were looking for a godly woman, if a guy is looking for a godly woman, he wants her to go to church, and things like that. And beauty on some level, inside and out. Okay, not just an outer appearance, because there's a lot of beautiful women that don't know anything and do not read a book, do not write a book, don't research anything, don't know anything about God, and they're just beautiful, and that's all it is, and you can't hold a conversation with them. And some men are like that as well. Some men just cuss a lot, or want to listen to rap music and have no diversity about them. If you expect a woman to be diverse and be able to listen to your rap music sometime and watch a ball game, then hey, you got to go see some Tyler Perry movies, and you got to go and be able to listen to some R&B and switch it up a little bit too. So be a little bit diverse, be able to do several things. If you're bored and you feel like you're alone, you don't have to be alone. Alone and being lonely are two different things. Being alone means that maybe you go out with you call up your family and get with your family if you're alone. Being alone, maybe you go take a sewing class. Maybe you create a product and invent a product. Being alone, you can write a book. Being alone, you can do poetry. Being alone, you can go to the park and work out or walk, or get with your family, do anything. You don't have to be lonely just because you're single or alone. You can do many things. So, and just like when you're looking for a job, you look at the job description first. You want to know what the man, especially if you kind of know what man you're looking at, and you've got some guys that are contenders, then you want to know what they want in a woman, and actually see if you can match like in a job, you would match the job description with the skills. So if you know what the man wants, then obtain those skills, obtain those characters or those attributes, so that you can be the woman that he wants. And if you already know, if you know that this is God, a man that God has sent your way, if he's already present. Now, if you don't know if this man is the God, that is the man that God sent you, then of course you're just going to have to know the typical things that guys look for, and which are some of the things that I mentioned in this video. And guys like to laugh, so have some humor. Be confident enough in yourself that you can laugh and have fun. If he's constantly having to remind you how beautiful you are, then you probably are not going to have that much fun if you just don't have enough confidence. But a man should always cherish a woman and tell her how beautiful she is, because women love that. Send her flowers, send her some type of gift, and text her and message her and let her know that you love her and that you want to be with her. You have to let her know clearly what your goals are with her. So that's the 3 things: God, seeking God first, and knowing what a man wants, and then preparing yourself for that man. Those are the first 3 things. And then the 4th thing, and the last thing that I'm going to discuss about how to find a godly man, and then I'll go into something else next. I will go into how do you know if he is the one. So the 4th thing is place yourself where you can be found. So at one point I had spent a whole year without being in a man's presence, just going to church, going to work, and I wasn't finding a man, or a man wasn't finding me. I know it says in the Bible that a man that findeth the wife, not a woman, man that findeth the wife findeth a good thing, right? So how would he find his wife? How would he find me if I was just going to church only, just my church? Because if he wasn't already at the church, what's the chances of him just walking through the door and saying, "I want to pick this woman"? And usually after sermon, everybody kind of just leaves. They don't get to know anything about you. So I started to go out a little bit more, place myself in places where godly men are. And well, at the time I didn't really go to a godly place to find a man, but I ended up at a casino and found a man that I dated for 3 years, but he turned out to be not the right man. So you want to go to places where godly men would be. Singles conventions. I don't have a problem with online dating. I think it's fine, but I think that the pool of men in online dating tend to be lower caliber. That they just may lie a little bit on social media. So it is a way to do it if you in fact don't have a lot of time to date. I don't have a problem with it. I've done it, and I've met some good friends on there, but I have not found the right one, because I don't think you should be going out just finding a man, but you need to make yourself available. I think that God wants you to make yourself available, not go and find a man, because on social media and meeting online, I think you're doing a lot of contacting men rather than them contacting you. And I think that it's okay if you choose to do online. Let me correct myself. Like if you do online, that's fine. If you end up having to contact someone, the best thing to do would be to put your information out there and let them contact you if they like you. And because if a man likes you, he's going to pursue you. And so that's what I'm going to go into. The next point that I want to talk about is, how do you know if you found a godly man? How do you know this? And I basically want to talk about 5 points. Basically, the man is going to clearly pursue you. So if you have to text him all the time text him first or call him first, he's not clearly pursuing you. Guys are meant to be hunters, and they're taught at a younger age to pursue women, and if he really wants you, he really likes you, he will pursue you. Okay? And if he's not pursuing you, maybe he's not ready. And if a man is only pursuing you at 3 o'clock in the morning, then maybe he just wants sex. which is also not good, because then you're just going to be the chick on the side, the booty call, and you don't want to be that. You want to be the one that he wants to marry. So now I'm not saying that if you've already made the mistake of sleeping with the gentleman that you think is for you, that he can't respect you. I'm sure he can respect you if you changed your ways and said, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to go about it in a godly manner, and I don't want to refrain from having fornication before I get married. I want to refrain from that. And if he really wants you, he'll still pursue you, and he will respect your decision. Okay? So it's not the end of the world if you've already made that mistake with the man that you think is going to be the one that God sent for you. The wrong man to look for is a man that is cussing a lot, is just showing that he doesn't have any meekness, he doesn't have any humbleness, he doesn't know how to have patience because he just blows up a lot, or talks about just violent things that he would do, because then he may be violent to you. And if he talks about always being in fights or having to fight, or anything like that, or smoking weed and drinking a lot, or he's always talking about when he's gonna go smoke again or drink, and then you know that might not be the right direction to go in. Okay, now because women sometimes have this want to have the bad guy, because you feel protected. Women feel protected when a man is manly and that he's strong and he can fight and everything, but that gets you into trouble, because the godly men know how to protect themselves too, but they don't boast and gloat about it all the time. It's more or less, if they need to protect themselves or their woman, then they will protect them, but they shouldn't be looking for trouble all the time, because trouble will find you if you look for it. So and then so he will pursue you. So you need to take time to, just like I said, take that alone time to be with God. And some of us, we get so lonely. I know God said that, you know, he made us to need a helpmeet, and you know, a man should have a wife and things like that. But the problem is that we get so thirsty that, you know, it's kind of like being in a desert and you don't have any water, and the first mirage you see, you think it's water, you go after it. So you're going after the guy that's the wrong guy, and just because you're thirsty, you know, don't be so thirsty. Just give into God and pour your all into him, and you know, God will quench your thirst. God will bless you, and he will make you feel fulfilled within yourself. So when the right guy finds you, that you have something to bring to the table. So I mean, sometimes women, we are so lonely, and we're ready to hug. We will hug a cactus, you know, if it was around, because we put ourselves in a lonely spot, in a lonely space, because we're not filling our life with things, wonderful things to do. And then if you fill your life with, okay, I'm going to go to a poetry club, I'm going to go learn how to paint, I'm going to learn to sew, you know, maybe I'll pick up biking and exercising and going to the exercise club. And when you pick these things up, then you've got something to share with your partner that would be very nice. So just let the guy pursue you, and just tend to what you can do, and put yourself, when you're ready, in a place where a guy can find you. But let him pursue you. Let him call you. Don't be texting him all times of the night, or texting him first. Let him text you first, good morning. Let him pursue you. Guys like the chase, and once you've given it up, then there's no chase left, you know. And so you have to be careful about when you give it up. And some people that don't plan to forego fornication at least have some type of rule 30-day rule. You have to be in a relationship for 30 days or something like that. At least have a rule, and use protection. But what God meant for us to do is He wants us to follow His commandments. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Because He can't bless you if your thoughts are not His thoughts and your ways are not His ways. How can He bless you? Because if He sends you a man, you're going to ruin the situation. You're going to ruin it because your ways are not His ways. So you have to first get with God and seek God first. Next, you want to make sure that man has income, okay? Because he's supposed to be a provider. If he's in God, he knows that he's supposed to be the provider. So how is he going to be the provider and live by God's ways and His rules and cherish you if he can't do the first thing and have income and provide for you? Okay, I'm not saying he has to have the best job in the world, but he has to have some sort of income where he can pay your rent. He can at least cover half the bills. He can at least buy you a meal. Like, he can at least pay for dinner if he takes you out. He can buy you some flowers here and there. And, you know, if you got sick and had to, or you were having a baby, he would be able to cover the bills while you were off work. You need to have that type of income. And a man needs to, if he can have a job, at least own a business or something. So, let him have some income. Ladies, too many times we settle and we try to hug that cactus that don't have income, don't have no water, you know, and then we're hurting it, and we got all these pins and needles in us because we hug the cactus. And I'm telling you, you're only going to hurt yourself hugging that cactus. If the man has nothing to offer, nothing, he's just a cactus, you know, he wants to live with you. He doesn't have any income. He doesn't have a car. He can't drive. And, you know, he expects you to do everything because you're an independent woman. You're independent, but you need to find also an independent man that has his own place. I'm not saying he has to have a house, but have his own place. You have your own place, so that you can go at your own pace with the fornication. You don't want to fornicate. If you're living together, you're going to fornicate. So you want him to be in a situation where if he can't handle his bills at his house, how can he help you with your bills? Doesn't make sense, does it? He can't help you with your bills if he can't handle his own bills. And it's going to lead to confrontation. If, you know, most 50% of marriages end because of financial problems. So you're starting with a financial problem. Doesn't make sense, does it? So the second point is to make sure he has income. And the third is to see if he will go to church, even if you don't go to church one day. So if you want a man that's already in church, and then he goes to church with you sometimes, but then take a day off church and see if he goes to church anyways. To pray for you, baby. You know, I'm going to go to church and I'm going to pray for you because you're sick or whatever. You know, see if, you know, if for a while maybe you had to go to a different church, will he still go to church? Will he still continue to go to that church or what have you? You want to make sure that he also, the next thing, the fourth is he knows a Bible verse. Does he have a favorite Bible verse? Can he quote a Bible verse? Can he tell you some of the stories in the Bible? Can he tell you, this is a good one I always like to use, do you know who the fourth person was in the fiery furnace? Because that's a story that if you're in church, they're going to talk about it. The 3 men that were in the fiery furnace, and then Jesus was the 4th man. And so they came out of the furnace and they walked out. They didn't rush and run out because Jesus was there with them. But Jesus walked with them, carried them, protected them in the fiery furnace. So let them, ask them some questions about the Bible and see how they reply. Do you know this? Do you know that? And then ask them if they can even tell you 3 current gospel songs. Now, if they say Stumped by Kirk Franklin, then they haven't been to church in a while, because Kirk has many new songs now. And Hadden and Mary Mary So many great great singers, Yolanda Adams, Donnie McClurkin, just so many great artists, Hezekiah, just so many great artists. So you want to make sure that he can tell you like maybe three gospel songs and at least 2 great pastors, like T.D. Jakes or Joyce Myers or Joel Osteen. They need to know something, you know. So you got to start asking some questions and prying, and you know, because anybody can say that they go to church, but what did you really learn about church? Like, what is your favorite Bible verse? What drives you? What is, when you pray at night, or when you get down, what do you say to motivate yourself? So what's the Bible verse that makes you motivate yourself? Like, you know, faith is the evidence of things unseen. You know, that comes off the top of your head. Like, so that's what I use, because I love having faith, and I think faith is so important. So that rolls off my tongue. It's not that I need to know the Bible verse or anything, or where it's located in the Bible, but at least need to be able to quote it and kind of tell you an idea maybe where some of the quotes come from, like at least the book. So you want to make sure he can know some Bible verses and some songs. And the 5th point is attraction. You want to be able to be attracted in some way to him, physically and also intellectually. Yes, intellectually. So you want to make sure that you like him from the inside out. You have to be attracted in some way that you could have some type of intimacy later on in your relationship or something. If this is a guy that you clearly could not be intimate with, then that's a problem, because if you can't be intimate with him, intimacy is a very important part of relationship. When you actually get to that point in your relationship, when you're married and you're having intimacy, this person needs to know what to do or how to perform or how to please you. They need to be in touch with you, what you like and what you don't like, and how you like to feel. But ladies, what we do generally when we are single, we gravitate towards toys and things like that, or masturbation, and you cannot give into that. And I'm gonna tell you why. I know you're about to turn off the video, but don't turn it off. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna give you my point. Because when you're doing that, then it puts that feeling there that you want to have relations, right? That's the best way I'm gonna put it for you. Because you feel that sensual feeling, and then you want the real thing. But if you don't give in to the toys and the masturbation, and you stop doing all that, your body will stop having that need or urge for sexual encounters. Okay, maybe every now and then you will feel it, but for the most part, you'll be able to go about your day and go to sleep. You'll pray, give it up to God, and you can go about your way and go to sleep, and you won't have a problem with having the urge for sexual interaction. So go away from doing that eventually. Wean yourself off it and just do abstinence, and that's the best thing I can tell you. So your man will find you. A man is supposed to find his wife. A man that findeth a woman findeth a good thing. So the man is supposed to find you, women, but you do have to place yourself in places and have yourself ready for when he comes. I've heard things about women writing a letter to the man that they wanted to marry, or the man that they think that God has for them, or the potential man that could be coming that they don't even know their name yet, and write a letter about how she misses them and loves them and things to kind of keep busy thinking about the man, and putting telling him how she's preparing herself, so that then after you get married, then you let them know that, you know, you wrote this letter and they can read it and it's kind of nice. And you know, on the honeymoon or whatever, they can read the letter. So that, I've heard people do that, and that seems really neat to me. But just keep your head up, because God has not forsaken you. God has not forgotten you. Actually, my pastor talked about that today. Bishop Oliphant, who's a great man that sings very good and does a great sermon, and he talked about God has not forgotten you. And one thing about it is that God will let things happen to you when you lose your job, or, you know, when things are rough and you don't have a car, you don't have a house. When it gets really rough and you're single and you're lonely and it gets really, really rough, and then God will bless you just like that. When you scream, when you can't do anything but scream, t.d. Jakes talks about that. You can't do anything but scream. That's when God comes in. You know why? Because that's when God gets his glory. He gets this most glory when you've gone to a very low point, and then, you know, he blesses you because, you know, you have a better testimony. And that's all I can say to you, is that, you know, just wait on it. Just wait on the Lord. You know, he will renew your strength. You know, you will mount up on wings like an eagle and fly. So just wait on the Lord and build a relationship with him, and God will bring your man, and then you will find your woman. You have to prepare yourself as well. You have to know your roles in the Bible. And in Proverbs 31, that it talks about a virtuous woman. In Proverbs 31:10, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is above rubies. So my grandmother was a virtuous woman, and after her husband died, she did not even get remarried. She was just a very virtuous woman. Always went to church, and our whole family, basically, most of us go to church and have good jobs and houses and cars and things like that, from what she built as a virtuous woman, and showing us how to fold clothes and wash for our men, and how to be there for our men, and be a virtuous woman, and have one man. And when you get married, the best thing I can tell you for those that are married is you have to get through the hard times. Nobody is perfect, and we're going to make mistakes, even infidelity, and I pray that doesn't happen in your marriage. If you've married the right person, you're equally yoked, you're not unequally yoked. Your mate should not be cheating on you, and you should not be cheating on them. But in the event that that does happen, if that person is truly sorry and they're willing to make it right, and they're not abusing that situation and doing it over and over again, I pray that you can get through it and talk it through amongst yourselves and with your pastor. Talk it through and say, hey, this was a mistake. Let's keep our family together. Let's stay together, and let's find out what went wrong and correct it. I pray that for you. So, all right. So this video is long enough, and I hope you like it. Please press the like button right now. Press like, subscribe, or comment right now. And let me know if you would like any other videos, if you would like to see something else, and I'll try to do them for you. All right. Love you, love cups. Bye.